just move on. Okay, so what is UV mapping and unwrapping? Well, we've already stated that a UV map is a flat representation of the surface on a 3D model. Huzzah!
Yep. Yeah.
And how do you take a 2D thing and put it onto a 3D thing? Well, you can't. The best way to describe that is actually with a model of the planet we live on.
Yeah.
If you've ever looked at a map of the Earth, and I'm gonna bring it up right now.
Okay, bring it up. Bring up a map of the and it's not flat.
Well, the Earth is not flat, no, but the maps are. The maps are stupid. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here's a map of the Earth. All right, guys, it's a tiny map. Let's do that a little differently. There we go. Here's a map of the Earth. Look at that beautiful Earth. I just want to give it a big old hug.
Aww.
It's a sweet Earth. Guy is a sweetheart. Okay, guys, Russia's not that big. China's not that small. The reason it looks this way is because this is somebody taking a globe, unrolling it, and trying to make a 2D map out of a 3D object.
Yep.
This does not work.
No.
And the reason that it does not work is because 3D objects don't translate to 2D properly. They just don't. Ergo, you get Greenland, which is the size of Canada and the United States, and Russia, which is just basically the size of Africa all the way to China.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not how the world actually looks. So in order to stop this from happening with your 3D model, yeah, an article looks really big, yeah. In order to stop this BS from happening on your 3D model in your game, you have to unwrap your texture. Yeah. All right. So when you unwrap your texture, best way to describe it is here's a box. Here's a box. Boom, 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 boom. Here's a cube. Cube has 6 surfaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the textures are going to go on here to make a pretty box.
Right. Box.
Okay, so you got to unwrap it. And when you unwrap it, you're literally taking this surface right here and you're putting it out into, you know, it's 2D components.
That's right.
You're taking, like they say, this
You're
part,
unwrapping.
This part, boom, right here. This part, boom, right here. This part, boom, right here. And then this part and this part, clink, clink. And that's it. That is legit it.
That's
so
it.
then when you have that, then you can apply your 2D texture onto here. You know, mess around with the settings, etc., and get it to look the way that you want it to look. And that is why when you look at something like a face texture, ready, guys? It's going to look great.
Yep.
It's going to look fantastic. This is going to look amazing. This is going to look great. All right, you ready for your nightmare fuel? Here's your nightmare fuel. This is your nightmare fuel right here, guys.
There you go.
That is your nightmare fuel. That is a face.
There. That's a face.
That's a face map. This right here eventually goes onto a 3D head to create a face.
Yeah.
Now you're going to see this late at night, sitting on your chest and staring at you while you try to sleep. You're welcome. But this is what happens. They unwrap the head of the 3D model. And then some texture artist painted this.
Yeah.
Added in all the different relevant shading for the jawline and the neck and all that. All the contours. Contours. And then they plast that sucker on there and they rewrap it back up.
Yeah.
Through a process called projection. Roxy, welcome to the stream. Roxy looks like that normally. But yeah, this is it. I mean, you know, when you look at these and you're like, what the hell is this? This is because, you know, on the most basic level, they just unwrapped the cube onto here. Well, they did the same thing with the face.
Yeah, they did.
They unwrapped the face onto here, and created a little map. And then they just plastered this nightmare on it, wrapped it back up, and next thing you know, you got a real person.
Yeah, human thinks they saw that guy on Hellraiser.
They probably did. they probably did. So yeah, this is that is how that works. So from a high level, what you're basically doing when you're unwrapping is you're going into your program, regardless of what your program is.
Yeah.
Like I said, I use Blender and I recommend Blender. It's free. It's easy to learn. It is, every iteration of Blender is better and better.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Chat's just going crazy tonight, Teal. They're having fun with this.
Pyramid Head's victim, yeah.
But that's what you do. You take your 3D object, you run it through the program. The program will do it for you, by the way. Any good 3D modeling program worth of salt will unwrap for you.
Isn't it so nice to have software nowadays that'll do that?
We used to not have that.
Because you used to not have that.
It used to be terrifying to make these things. But then again, also you're working with significantly less polygons, so that's a win.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So yeah, that's basically the basics of the unwrapping side. Is you unwrap, you create nightmare fuel, and then you project. Projecting is what you do. You project the 2D image onto the 3D space in your texture program or texture portion of your 3D program, whatever. And then you wrap it back up. Yeah. You don't have to tell it, by the way, to wrap it back up. The program
it automatically does that.
Yeah. All right, what we got here? So Roxy said, what's it got?
Okay, Roxy says they're not experienced with 3D models. Does unwrapping work well with more complicated shapes, like a whole character model?
It absolutely does.
Yes, that's how they do it.
This right here is probably a high polygon head. So just imagine that for the whole body.
Yeah.
And if you saw, I'm going to say, actually, let's see if we can do it. Body texture map. Let's see what nightmare fuel comes out of here. Oh God!
Yes, there it is.
Oh God! Oh God! Hopefully this won't get me Twitch banned. There's no. Okay. Okay, good. We don't see any naughty bits.
Okay.
Hopefully no naughty bits. Let us know if there's naughty bit. But yeah, Roxy, there's an entire body. There's head, legs. That's the legs, arms, torso. I'm not sure what that part is. Hands. Yes, skin suits for all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how Buffalo Bill did his thing.
Yeah.
And this is how you make 3D models look like human beings.
That's right.
There you go. Yeah. So, I mean, again, if you guys want to see us go deeper into tutorial, we could make like about a 10-minute video kind of going through how this works in Blender probably.
Yeah.
Because Blender's what we use. But I mean, it's basically that. And then you just pop that sucker back on the model, hit the render button, and yeah, you're going to take a lot more time building this to make this look as realistic as possible than you are unwrapping, projecting, and rendering. Because the engine or the application now handles most of the heavy lifting.
Yep.
Back in the day, when I worked with things like 3ds Release 3 and 3ds Release 4, there was a lot more work going into it, and you had flat projection, box projection, sphere projection, cylinder projection. That's all you had, and you had to tweak this bullshit until it fit. They still have those.
There was a lot of programming of the coordinates in there. Yeah,
a lot of trial and error and tears. Honestly, even nowadays, what I like about Blender is once you pull the map into this part right here, you can select certain faces and scale and move things around so that it positions it just right. Yeah, like I said, I actually have a model, KV has seen it, that I built, and I projected mapped the face onto it.
Yeah.
So it actually has a pretty good face. I'll share that with you guys on Discord probably tomorrow. But yeah, most of the time nowadays the application handles the heavy lifting.
That's good. This
page right here is just some 3D painting software. 3D painting software is what you use to create this crazy stuff right here. And I'm not going to go through every last one of these because there's a lot of stuff. I will say that Substance by Adobe is probably the best, but it's going to cost you like $40 a month. Zbrush is also pretty popular right there, as is Mudbox. Pick your poison. You could technically create I'm going to get rid of that. That just terrifies me so much more. You could technically create this in Photoshop, but unless you know exactly how the mesh is going to work when it's unwrapped, you're putting in a lot of guesswork. So it's highly recommended if you're going to be a 3D artist to get something like one of these programs. ZBrush, real popular. This is still going to be one of the best out there as I click on it by accident. Substance Painter by Adobe. And what happens is it brings up the mesh and you just paint on it. And then when you're done painting on the mesh, it then automatically unwraps it into this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just pull it back into your 3D software and project it on, and then you can animate or do whatever you're going to do with it. This is one of those moments where if anybody wants to throw out another Nightmare Fuel comment, that's fantastic, or another question. Without the software, it is absolutely trial and error wrath, and it can take an exhaustively long time.
Yeah.
It can. So let us know, by the way, both in live chat and in VOD, if you want us to do a tutorial on UV mapping, because this is something that we feel you need to learn.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a 3D game developer, you just need to learn this.
You do.
You do. Because even if you're going to do something that's really simple, it's still good to be able to put textures on an object. Because if you don't put textures on an object, it's just going to be colors, and trust me, it's going to get real boring real fast.
Yep.
Our world is a world of textures and shaders.